Yes. Yes. Oh. Oh, here for me and then it was crazy. Not to stay on the chair.
Yeah, better than confidence. Not today, so that's good.
I know, I hate that. I had a day yet to do something. Places. Two houses, two jobs. Insane.
That big rug over that court, we almost tripped over it.
The board is sticking up, the board is fine.
Need a rug for.
Yeah, we do need a record.
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, that's fine.
But when when it's like quiet, still in there, we almost looking around. Another day, so yeah, find some action to. As we get.
So with.
Yeah. And we. Buddy.
Hey, we're back home, buddy, appreciate it.
But.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Good, Mark, how are you?
Good, buddy. Live and kicking.
Drivers.
What's new with MoDOT? Better retire?
There's put in his papers.
He did. I heard a little rumor about him. He's going over to the annex, isn't he? Going over the rest of them.
The MoDOT retiree social club.
Pretty good with them. Yeah, that's about the way it is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I heard that here a while back. I couldn't remember when he was doing it.
Yeah. And, I guess it's already official. Maybe it's already happened. Jim Copeland is retiring.
Is he?
And that may have already happened. That may have been November 1st.
Wow, I'll be darned.
I hadn't seen him in a while. I hadn't seen him in a while because the last several years, he had taken a position with central office,
Oh,
staying down here, and he'd have to go up there, once or twice a month or 2 or 3 times.
really?
Or something
I didn't
like
know that. Okay.
Yeah, he'd given up the district land survey manager, and I think he wanted. And did not get it back.
Oh, no kidding.
I think whenever because Benji got it after him. And whenever Benji left, they hired up. I think he's already working for Brian Ferguson, who is used to work for MDC.
Okay,
He's a PLS.
I got you.
So
Well,
I think there was a lot of acrimony.
yeah, I bet.
Because he decided about it, he wanted to be able to come back and be local.
Yeah,
I think.
I understand.
There's more new faces than there are old faces.
I bet there are. I bet there are. I'm sure I don't know very many of them. I've been there a long time. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But as the years go by, that's what happens, isn't it, Joe?
I've been there 20.
Wow.
There's a lot
Wow.
of changes.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, in May, I will have been gone 17 years. And that's how long I was there. So that's kind of crazy.
Wow.
You forget it.
Yep.
You got Anita.
Yeah.
A good job with central office, again, working locally out of the district,
Really?
doing estimating.
I was on a Zoom call,
So, I don't know.
Really?
professor and
Greg got
UMKC.
similar jobs.
Really?
So they both, within the last couple of months, they both central office titles.
They're doing that quite a bit. Huh?
Yeah,
Is that just a
You
deal?
wouldn't be a.
I can't bill or what is it?
I don't know.
It's odd.
Truly.
Huh?
At least two to five.
Exactly.
Yeah, we already hired them. I mean,
It's what?
Robbing Peter to pay Paul there, aren't
the
you?
last.
Fireflies.ai.
That's right.
Wow.
You may
Yeah,
be.
those are the last three in the district.
Crazy.
Yeah, we
Can't hire a civil.
can't get us to silver.
That's nuts.
It's interesting.
It's a different world, isn't it?
You know, it used to
It's
be
hard
that
to-
way when that covered the jobs.
It's hard to even imagine, man, you know?
People are going.
It really is. Hey, how you doing?
What's up? How you doing, big guy?
Doing okay.
I
How about
guys, you
yourself?
guys are out there taking care of the woods and mowing.
Oh, we better be. Jake, Carrie, how are you?
Yeah.
Good, good, sir.
How are you?
How you doing?
Good, good to see you this morning.
Yes, sir.
Getting it all ironed out today, are you? That's good.
Heard all his words of wisdom.
He probably had a lot to say today, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
That's pretty entertaining.
The old election result. It'll be good.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get started. I call this meeting to order of the SEMPO Technical Planning Committee. This meeting is November 6, 2024. We're gonna begin with introductions. We'll start with Marla. Way around.
Marlon Mills, KLG Engineering, Central Staff. Jenny Smith, Executive Director, CTA.
Kevin Neal, Senior Planner with Lockmuir Group, sub-consultant to PES on the Regional Trail Connectivity Study.
Jonathan Corbett, landscape architect, planning design studio, trail study. Scott Camp Plan Design Studio, project manager.
Alex McRoy, Simple Staff.
Brian Shrimpland, City of Cape Girardeau.
Drew Christian, SEMO RPC.
Jake Gerard, City of Cape. Morning, Jay Knudsen. I'm here representing the county of Cape Girardeau.
Mark Phillips, Cape Special Road District.
Kerry Harbison, Seymour Port.
Joe Killian.
And online, we have Cecily Cochran, Kenyon Whitecamp, Chad Berner, Michael Brandon, Tom Caldwell, and Betty Tracy.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
Hello. Who's that doing there? Okay. All right, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Second,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
John, the agenda is adopted. All right, we did not have a quorum at the last meeting, but the notes are included here. You can look those over at your leisure. Okay, I do not have any communications. Are there any public comments regarding items that are not on the agenda today? Now, we'll move on to new and unfinished business. First up is the SEMPO Region Trail Connection Study. Got a presentation and discussion.
We do, we have our consultants in Planning Design Studios. We did receive a very brief presentation last month, but due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to get the full presentation, but they have a little bit more to present this time. I'm gonna turn it over to them for their presentation.
Go to full screen.
Okay. Grab the hit share screen. Focus on.
Full screen again too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you are.
Right. Can everybody online see the screen? Take that as a yes. So again, today we just want to give a quick update on what we've been working on, and part of that is a little bit of a recap from the last meeting, since there was some technical difficulties. Since we met last, we have been working on developing a third option or alignment that we'll talk about today. We've been working on an evaluation matrix, and that's really a way that we can, I guess, look at the different alignments and see which ones have, more merit or less merit based on these factors. Then a quick update on just where we're at in our scope, and then what we'll be working on from there. Again, October 2nd, our intent was just to give you an update on some of the things we have been working on, and part of that was to provide a summary of the online survey that was done. So anyway, so what we did was kind of take maybe 10 or 20 slides and get them down to just a few, but mainly the information that we got out of the online survey, showed us that most of the folks were, where they came from in terms of the respondents. So City of Jackson, 45%, Cape, 35, then 20 from unincorporated. The age range was, 40 to 69 in terms of the respondents. But a lot of folks use both trails, which was very interesting as part of the survey. But a lot of people have to drive. Over 70% have to drive to get to the existing trail network. And we thought that was really cool that there were, a fairly frequent use of the trails, which is good news. So it's mostly used for exercise, 70%, and most are taking shorter trips, 1 to 10 miles. So it's mostly your walkers, dog walkers and things like that doing the trip. And another interesting thing is most of the respondents say that they ride by themselves. So that was, and again, the survey was done between June 17th and August 19th, and we had 228 respondents to that survey. Other types of things that we asked was just about kind of where they like to go. So it was the Osage Center in terms of destination, Jackson City Park, Schnucks was one of the things listed, Shawnee Park, downtown Cape. Like I said, it's walking was the most frequent type of activity, cycling, and then running kind of being kind of further down on the list. More folks wanted to try to get to, you know, again, this is the whole purpose of the study is to try to get that connection between Cape and Jackson. So that was reinforced in the survey that was a desired destination. And then just more connections. And again, that was part of your 2018 master plan was wanting those connections in there. Safety came up in a lot of the comments and in terms of concerns, you know, having longer trail. Some instances, as you know, with the existing Cape LaCoy trail, there are some, you know, it's kind of narrow and there's some really tight kind of turns, especially getting underneath some of the bridges there. So that's just, again, something that folks responded to. And then we asked them about different roads and intersections they felt most concerned about. And so Kings Highway and Jackson Boulevard were kind of at the top of that list. The other concern that I didn't put in the slide, but it says many stated that they felt that all intersections are unsafe because cars go too fast and they don't stop at crosswalk lights. So they felt like a lot of the intersections along Kings Highway and Jackson Boulevard were dangerous. So, you know, and I guess as you progress with developing trails, you know, there's things that you can do to help mitigate, you know, some of that issues with pedestrians and cars, but it's something, you know, obviously you guys need to be aware of that there's a concern over safety. And then we did have two public meetings, one in Cape, one in Jackson. Attendance was pretty good. It was a little bit better at Jackson, but we did get input. We made a couple of boards that folks could tell us, you know, which alignment. And at that time, we had a north alignment and a south alignment. Almost everyone preferred the north alignment as we showed it. We asked them through a kind of keep our online filing which trailheads they'd like to see. So that's an example on the lower left of one of those, some of that input that we got. We also asked them to tell us about what their priorities are in terms of, you know, what would be in a trailhead and what other amenities. So we got that kind of input. But mainly along the trail amenities, it was signage, it was using, you know, having trailheads with restrooms, having seating and kind of information kiosks was really important to the folks that showed up at those two public meetings, which was on August 7th and August 8th. Okay, so that was a very quick recap of the input that we've gotten so far on the project. What you'll see here is kind of the latest alignment that we've been looking at. So the red line was the original north that we had showed at the public meetings and to this group previously. The green line at the bottom was again previously developed, and so the new blue line is now what we're calling the new north alignment, and the red line becomes the middle alignment, and the green line becomes the south alignment. So, but what we're trying to do is look at ways to maybe avoid some of the problem areas with what the again what's called the middle alignment now. You know, kind of crossing, trying to provide you know, an elevated crossing against 55 or over 55. You know, could be troublesome. And looking at the other part of this was, you know, looking at growth areas for, you know, the future. You know, where are the residential areas now? Where are the residential areas going to be in the future? So we looked at your future land use plans to try to kind of see how that would align with these different options. So this map is kind of a combination of the City of Jackson future land use map and the City of Cape future land use map. And it's kind of hard to see on this screen, but generally those areas in yellow are residential, planned for the future. And, what we saw in this map was that most of the residential kind of existing and future is in the north. And we have a trail network that's easily accessible by neighborhoods, then folks can go from their house right to this trail and use it for exercise or use it for commuting or whatever. So the south alignment, it's generally kind of agricultural farmland that seems like, at least in these future land use, is going to stay that way. So less people, less opportunities to connect to neighborhoods. So that's why we're focusing in on the north and the middle for these different alignments.
Scott, can you remind me what, where's the northern crossing 55, the northern alignment?
That is
south.
South.
So yeah, the new one runs Mountain Drive, Route W, and then over to, I think it's County Route 318, and then over to Douglas Memorial Drive up to the old business park, and then south over to East Main.
Yeah, and that north crossing of 55 is under, not over.
Yeah.
And there is room in there. We looked at Google Earth. There is room that if you cut back that embankment, you could get something in, and it's going to be, you'd be on the other side of a guardrail. And so, in terms of crossing, a busy intersection or busy highway like 55, that's probably the easiest way to do it. If you were to try to put in a pedestrian bridge, because the other two crossings that we have, you really need to do a pedestrian bridge. That's going to be much more challenging to try to do. So again, this is just one other option that we're looking at right now.
Also, this one continues, it's basically a continuation of the Cape Croy Creek. So that section going north is following right alongside the creek there until it finally cuts over on County Road 618.
Yeah, so that's the other one that this does for us. And again, right where kind of it goes from the red line to the blue line, that's kind of generally following the creek, which I think none of these other potential alignments, had the opportunity to be associated or adjacent to more kind of natural areas. So, all right, let's go back. So we did another kind of alignment statistic kind of look at this one. So this new north is longer. The other ones were kind of in the 7.5 to 8 mile range. And again, because we're following, right of ways and this loops out, this one's 10.5 miles. And because of that additional distance, we do have a few more, parcels that might be impacted through this. But again, the intent was to try to get it to be closer to either current or future residential areas. I guess one less bridge crossing. So I think the other two had 5, it's got 4. And then, potential for at-grade crossings. There's, again, because it's a longer route, there's a few more here. But again, it seems doable in this case. And then we developed some pros and cons. Actually, this alignment has fewer steep slopes than the other 2 alignments that we looked at, which is a bonus. And then, like we were just talking about, a third of this alignment is along the creek, which would be more of a, in terms of user experience, might be a little bit better than being right next to the roads the entire time. like I said, it is probably the easiest crossing of the highway, because we're going underneath the highway instead of trying to go over. And again, like we've been talking about, is that with future residential development, there may be a way to kind of write into the agreements for those developers that wherever their neighborhood is, have them build in the trail. So that's, again, that's one advantage of trying to get these alignments near growth areas, is that you can put some of the burden of developing the trail system on the developers. Cons, longer route, which obviously it is what it is. There are, like I said, there are quite a few parcels that might be impacted, but the thing, kind of the next level of detail that we need to look at with this alignment is just to see, how much can actually fit within the right of way, so that we don't have to impact as many properties, but we just gotta see how that will work. And then again, because it's longer, we'll have a bit more at grade crossings. So, you guys have any thoughts or comments on this new north alignment?
I think it's excellent. I think there's a lot of advantages to this. I'm glad that you guys looked into that. That's what I'm personally.
So it's a good time to transition into our matrix. So what we have done, and again, the purpose of a matrix like this is to just find some kind of logical way to evaluate these different alignments. So what we did was we came up with kind of categories. So the ones at the very top, feasibility is a main category. User experience, that's like, what it's like on the particular trail, whether or not there's community input, and then cost. So those are the four main categories. Then under each one are the factors that we kind of measure for these different alignments. So under feasibility, how long is it? I would say if it's a longer trail, it's going to cost more money. That's pretty simple. Land acquisition, what easements do you need? How many parcels? So that's a factor. Structures and bridges, walls, that kind of things. That's kind of ties back into the cost of development too. The more bridges and walls you have, obviously the more expensive it's going to be. And then the last one under feasibility is the operation maintenance. So if it's some areas where it might be subject to flooding, that's you're going to have to be a bit more maintenance than others areas that don't. Under user experience, the first three are kind of highlighted in red, and that's because they tie back to the vision and goals that were in the 2018 regional bicycle and pedestrian plan. So connections was kind of one of the vision and goals. And so we've got two categories. There are two factors that we evaluate in terms of connections, whether it goes to destinations like the parks or the shopping or other trails, or connections to residential, either current or future, and then how we interpreted safety in terms of the matrix was, what these alignments have kind of lower traffic counts and lower crash data. So that's kind of how we interpreted safety as being, one of the original vision and goals there. Also, user experience, we looked at the creek, whether or not had that. The topography is always a big issue in terms of how you feel when you're riding along a section, and then trying to limit the amount of interruptions, or stops is also part of that user experience. Community input. So so far we've had two of the alignments. We've got input from the community because we had those developed when we went out and reached out to the public. This new third alignment, they haven't seen yet, but as we when we have our next meeting, we'll definitely get input from the community on that, so we can fill out our matrix. And then the cost, I think right now, the kind of draft of the matrix, we've just got kind of dollar signs in there for, like your dinner menus at a restaurant, and which ones are more or less, but
An expensive restaurant.
right, the expensive, lots of dollar signs. So, again, at this early stage, we're not, in a position to get into a detailed cost estimate, but again, we can generally have a sense for, which ones might be more. Once we get to a kind of preferred alignment, either, from this group or the public, we'll do a more, planning level cost for that particular one that is preferred. So this is the matrix as it stands right now. So you can see we've got the categories of feasibility, user experience, community input, and projected costs kind of at the left side of the screen, and then these evaluation factors. And we've simply made it kind of yellow, green, and red. And obviously, green is good, red is not so good. So the new north alternative, like I said, things that are rated a little bit lower is because of the land acquisition easements. That particular alignment, if you remember, had 126 potential impacts to parcels. That middle alignment has less, but the south alignment, also is kind of on the lower rated side of that. So, and then at the very bottom, you'll see it's, community input, since I have that as TPD in terms of that north one, since the public hasn't seen that yet. But, all in all, the middle alignment, which used to be just the north alignment, that one may have less, in terms of the things that detract from it. The south, as we were saying before, it probably, the south alignment is not as viable as these other two. But this is, like I said, a draft. So what we really would like from this group is looking at these evaluation factors, if that's, if that's what you guys feel is good, or if there's, tweaks that we need to make, or other factors that we want to throw into this. But, we've tailored this to what we think would be good for this study, and the circumstances that we have. Some other factors that we've used have been related to, can this particular trail, help with kind of improve the environment, some things like that. But I think at this stage, we feel that these types of factors are good. But after this meeting, or I guess you've got the PDF, I guess you could send it out to everybody, and if you guys want to think about it a little bit more and let us know what you think, or if anything needs to be tweaked, we'll be happy to do that. You guys want to throw in anything else?
No, you've covered it pretty well. I'm looking forward to getting everybody's feedback.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to run through is just kind of where we're at. So there's 5 tasks in the scope of work. Task 1 was the kind of project kickoff. We did that April 3rd. Task 2 was kind of our data collection discovery process, and that basically ran from April through June. We were here June 5th and kind of presented kind of some of our initial findings. So that's done. The routing analysis, task 3, was kind of this last phase that we were working on. We were here July 3rd and obviously August 7th for the public meetings. So that's basically done. So now we're kind of getting into this recommendations and implementation phase. So that matrix I talked about, that feeds into what will ultimately be our kind of work towards our preferred alignment. So what we really need to figure out right now is a public meeting. So, generally, I guess it's helpful to have those public meetings at the, evening of these meetings. So I guess the next one would be the December, if you guys have a December, technical planning committee meeting.
Yeah, it was the first Wednesday.
So I think we can get everything we need to compile by that time. If you think, if we can pull it off, because if we don't, then it's gonna push it into January and then, that might push back some of the, kind of the board meeting, final open house. So I kind of like to see if we can get it in December.
December 4th, pencil that one down.
Okay. And do want to do back-to-back meetings like we did last time, so one on the 4th and one on the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cape on the 4th and Jackson on the 5th.
Yeah, I'll work with, both facilities to see if those dates kind of work for them.
Okay, check my schedule too. Yeah. So, the last thing I wanted to go over was just the, kind of next step. So, any feedback that you guys have on this new north alignment, the matrix, we want to hear from you, I guess as soon as possible, so we can get that incorporated. Part of our trip down here today is we'll drive that new north and kind of see if there's any things that stand out in terms that might, we might need to tweak on that alignment. We do want to get the kind of cost information going. And then, like I said, if 4th and December 5th are the dates for the public meeting, that's good. So we can get that, start planning for that. So that is the update. Any other questions,
I
comments?
just wanted to remind again that we want to make sure that what, in terms of our criteria and stuff, that is going to align with potential grants like the TAP and anything that we might apply for. So whatever they're looking for, whatever boxes we would need to check for those applications. I just want to make sure that we're addressing that in our analysis, and hope that our recommended will mirror that.
Yes, I agree. And the other thing that we need to start thinking about as we're moving towards wrapping things up in the next few months is just related to those grants is, what is that deliverable? Is it, we've done these for, as more of an executive summary, shorter document, and some is, full, with all the text, but we find some of our clients find it easier just to deal with a more of an executive summary type of report. Just because it's, you don't have to spend a lot of time.
It's concise.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we definitely want to make sure that if, whatever that deliverable is can easily be used by you to go for grants.
We should be looking at on the preferred route, some kind of a phasing option.
Yes, that will be part of the recommendations is implementation. And I, again, think we'll for that deliverable, at least probably by the public meeting is, we'll, if we can get some more input on the preferred alignment, I think we want to try to start looking at in more detail the kind of what a typical cross section would look like at certain points along those alignments, what are areas that, we would need a pedestrian bridge if we needed, or, say bigger retaining walls, that kind of thing, and just either have diagrams or have photo examples of what that looks like so that, you can see what we're thinking needs to be done to make that a reality.
I'm just, Alec, or Ryan was mentioning, the TAP grants and just having written and reviewed some of those,
10 mile trail is not something that we apply for all at one chunk, and so if those phases can have, I don't know, some of those areas out there, as it gets out over the county road, it may be difficult to find this, but, you know, even if we're just doing phase one, it still is connecting from A to B. And then phase two is going from B to C. Having some kind of starting points of those phases so that they don't just kind of end in the middle of nowhere, because when we do those grant reviews, when it just kind of
Dump them off somewhere.
yeah, it just ends, there's no neighborhood, there's no, you know, it's like, what are we doing? So that would be, I know out there along the county road, that may be difficult to get to, but just something to keep.
It's our intention to kind of get input from the public too on that, you know, implementation priorities, just to see what, you know, what sense of public has on those types of things, you know, so. But yeah, that's all a good point, because yeah, it's tough when you have fragmentation on a trail. So you don't want to start in the middle, probably, which makes it hard.
Yeah, I think in addition to those kind of logical A to B segments where we're actually connecting, you know, one or two destinations to maybe trip originators or neighborhoods, also thinking about how each of those segments might add up in terms of cost, making sure that, you know, if this is going to be broken down into segments, those segments need to be bite-sized enough to where you can go out and get that funding. So we'll probably be doing some coordinating with Alex and maybe others to think about what kind of, you know, ceiling we want to put on each of those segments, so that way it's still within reason for one or more local agencies to pursue. Yeah.
Ryan? Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Caldwell. With the proposed public meetings, December 4th and 5th, would that not possibly provide that all your billable work would take place within December, and within the term end date for our agreement? You know, the study is with the IDOT agreement, but just the true billable work is all that would be necessary to be completed prior to, at, or before December 31st.
We've actually reached our planning agreement threshold with our last invoice that I'm about to send.
Oh, that's right. Oh, gosh. Yep. So it doesn't matter, but just, so scratch that. Yeah, right. We talked about that. You're going to just, those dollars would just be taken care of by MoDOT. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're all good.
Okay, anything else on the trail connection study? Thank you guys for coming. Sure. Very good to see you again. All right, next we have the 2024-2027 Transportation Improvement Plan, amendment number 5. We need a motion to release for public comment and recommend additional approval to the board.
Yeah, so this is the city of Jackson's cost share project with MoDOT for lighting on Jackson Boulevard, US 61, south of Kalen Drive to Old Orchard. The project has an estimated total of $935,000, and it's scheduled in FY25.
Any questions or discussion?
We do have a one pager. This is from our new tip tool software that has a breakdown of the funding sources, the funding year, and total project costs.
Motion to approve.
Second,
I'll say.
Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
That's, thank you. Next, we've got the MoDOT and IDOT 2025 safety performance targets and adopting long-term safety goals of zero fatalities and serious injuries. Give me a motion recommended for the board.
Yeah, so this resolution, is a little long, it's a little wordy, but it, is trying to accomplish two things. One is the PM1 measures that us as the NPO is required to either develop our own safety performance targets or adopt the state's. So this is serving two purposes. We are supporting the Missouri Department of Transportation safety targets and the Illinois Department of Transportation safety target. You have a breakdown of those figures on this one pager, the front and back. Similar to last year, it's all in accordance with their zero fatality by 2030, zero by 2040, with the 5-year rolling average driving the numbers each year. So that's the first thing it accomplishes. The second thing it accomplishes is with our comprehensive safety action plan, there's a requirement by the federal highway that we, as part of developing that plan, commit to long-term reduction of fatalities and serious injuries. So this is adopting MoDOT and IDOT safety performance targets, but then also making that commitment for zero by 2030 for fatalities and zero by 2040 for serious injuries. Any questions?
Historically, we've supported the state targets on that.
Historically, we have, yeah, for both MoDOT and
Is
IDOT.
there a desire to deviate from that? Hasn't been an issue, hardly. Motion to recommend approval to the board.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan update, RFQ discussion and motion to recommend approval to the board.
So our proposal review, October 11th, we solicited 24 firms. We had the RFQ on SEMPO's website and AMPO's website. We received 3 proposals from 3 very qualified firms. Our scoring committee reviewed the proposals and they're recommending CDB transportation engineers and planners to conduct the study. So a motion to support would make that recommendation to the board on their November 20th board meeting.
Any questions or discussion? No. Okay, motion.
I'll make that motion, Ryan.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, passes. And lastly, the SS4A Comprehensive Safety Action Plan discussion, motion, and release.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of this project. We do have our draft currently. This motion would release the draft to public comment. That here. So. I know what that X was associated with. On simple. Okay, so here, this is our project webpage on SEMPO's website. We have a description of the project, how to participate, how to issue comments. Here, you can download a copy of the draft report. This button will take you to our interactive GIS story map. Here is the safety toolkits folks can take a look at. There's another button to download the draft. These were just incremental project updates. And this is embedded our GIS story map for our document. It's into the plan. Stakeholders. We get into safety data. So it's on SEMPO's website under documents, comprehensive safety action plan, if folks want to take a look at it. But we're at the point now where we would like public feedback on it, at least for the public. And then depending on how many comments we receive, we'll be looking to have the plan adopted in December and or January. December would put us 1 month ahead of track for our grant agreement requirements, but we can approve it in January if necessary. Any questions?
So, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Yes. Next, we have member reports. Start with City Chief Dorado. Chief.
Thank you. TTF 5, it's Main Street from Roberts to Cape Rock. We hope to have those documents completed at some point. Our consultants backed up some, so we had to prioritize this list. This got pushed down a little bit. It is still planned to be done. We will get to it as quick as we can. Our other project we still have going, TTF 5, would be North Sprigg, Broadway to Lexington. That was the reallocated money from the Independence Street project. It is under final design. Brock Miller has done a great job on those plans on a very expedited design schedule. So we hope to have those by end of year. Well, we'll be bidding it out by end of year. They're gonna have me final plans by December. TTF 6 Pacific project, South Sprigg Street. It is actually out for bid. We just had our mandatory pre-bid meeting that was well attended an hour ago. We'll open that on the 19th of November, send council first meeting in December. So South Sprigg Street will be under construction early next spring. Since Sprigg Street is now designed, as soon as we get it under contract, we will start on the Bertling in-house design. So I've got staff ready to jump on that one. We'll get it designed as quickly as possible, and then we look to have it out for construction late spring, early summer. Lexington is still moving westward. They are between Cape Rock Drive and Old Sprigg. That block is shut down in both directions right now. It will probably shut down for another week or two. The contractor plans to asphalt pave between Sprigg and Old Sprigg. So that section should be done in the next week or two as well. Veterans Memorial Drive, the consultant plans to have us final engineering by the end of the year. Our maintenance projects, we have our 23 concrete street repair. All the work is complete. We're working on closing that one out. Our 24 asphalt overlay project, all that work is complete. We're working on closing it out. And then our 24 concrete street repair, Frontenberger Concreters was awarded that job. They are actively working on Cape Rock Drive, just east of Kings Highway. They will be doing patching all the way up to Perryville. That time we'll start on Perryville between Lexington and Sherwood. Our CIST project is also underway. I apologize, I don't know where they're at the moment, but they're around town working. Our 74 Minnesota intersection cost share. The center median was constructed last week. That work is almost complete. Yes, okay, thank you, Chris. And we will get that one done soon, get that one all wrapped up. We have our Cape Rock Drive sidewalk, 2 sections of that were CAP grants. We are under design still. We have a public meeting upcoming on November 21st. It will be I believe it's here at the Osage, so everyone's welcome to join if you have, if you're, especially if you live along that area, but if you're a user of it or just interested citizen, please feel free to come by with staff, just kind of open house style. Answering questions, if there's any specifics from homeowners, we can discuss then. And make sure everybody's aware of what the plan is. Any feedback we'll take under consideration. Then the LaCroix Trail, Shawnee Trail projects, down by the Shawnee Center, that design is underway as well. So that's all I thank you.
Hey, Jackson, Rodney.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Jackson Middle School crosswalk and sidewalk improvement project, it's TAP grant. City staff's in the process of pursuing a task order with an engineering firm to complete that project design. Jackson's asphalt pavement improvement program is done for 2024. We mill and fill Missouri Street uptown. Did some work on Greensbury Road, overlaid Industrial Drive to the soccer park. And then the remainder of that work was all in Russell Heights cemetery streets. Kaler Engineering has submitted the Sunset Hills Bridge replacement final plans, and I helped him complete the LPA questionnaire to MoDOT. That's a VRO grant. Our CDBG grant in the North Industrial Park, the water main has now been relocated, and there's a lot of earth moving occurring up there right now between our project and the industrial site, which is Truss Works. So that will continue to progress in the next several months. The East Main Street Sidewalk Project, another TAP grant, finally received environmental and cultural clearances from MDNR. We received our A date on October 30th, and we're now officially in the process of acquiring 2 permanent easements necessary for construction. We're also working with Bacon Farmer Workman to get a task order ready for construction phase engineering services on that. We're also preparing a contract with the city of Springfield, Missouri for the Safe Across Pedestrian Safety Program. The Uptown Jackson Revitalization Organization Memorandum of Understanding for wayfinding directional signage in Uptown has been completed. So we're on our way with those.
Has that been designed yet?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe UJRO received some ARPA money from the city to design those, and I believe that design is done or almost done. Strickland Engineering is preparing a recommendation and a proposed cost estimate for some needed safety improvements to the Quail Creek Bridge south of town off of Highway 25 that serves the city's sanitary sewer lift station in Grandview Acres. So we've got to do some work there to improve the safety of that bridge. I understand there's an update meeting on the Deerwood 61 roundabout scheduled with MoDOT sometime in November. Now that right-of-way acquisition is done. And finally, the East Jackson Boulevard roadway lighting project, we took on that today. We've also approved Strickland Engineering's services proposal for construction phase, inspection and project administration, and we're continue to work with MoDOT on the program agreement. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rodney. Jay, you got any updates today?
You know, I reached out to Commissioner Herbst, to get some information, and so I didn't get any real specificity as it relates to where these are. But I am proud to report that there has been 4 miles of new road created, 13.8 miles of overlays, 2 existing bridge replacements, and a low water bridge replacement with a new bridge in the Perry and Cape County line. So there appears to be some activity going on within the county, making some developments. And maybe while I still have the floor, Alex, what is there any update on our Perryville Road Pilot House study, JC Golf Course? I know Jake and I met with some of the golf course folks, but where is that study currently at?
Well, since we gave the presentation, there hasn't been much action taken since.
So what would be the next step to move that forward?
Need a funding source.
Well, I hear you. But do we feel as though we have a plan that we could take to some of the stakeholders?
I think with what was compiled, you have a very good recommendation of the best option. And I think you have a case of the public showing that there's been a lot of different options explored. And the group would recommend the one that eventually got selected.
So what brings something like that to the format instead of just putting on a shelf? And I understand funding, but is it a matter of trying to rally my buddy here at Cape Special Road and the city of Cape and the county and MoDOT and having that bubble up to a larger conversation?
You'll definitely want to engage a lot more of the organizational leadership. Share the study with them, let them know what the recommendation is, what the approximate cost would be, and then try and get some support that way.
Since that's been looked at and discussed, have you had any stakeholder interest that has been developed, or has that just been pretty much retained in this room?
I think it's been retained in this room. I haven't heard much other conversation about it.
But you gonna put a new bridge in there?
Well, I'm sure we will someday.
You've been
Yes.
talking about that.
We're talking, we've got one scheduled for next year already, but obviously we're not quite ready to even come up with a design. I don't even know for sure which one was recommended on the design. Was it the?
I think we had 2 of them that were kind of.
That's where I was at
This
last.
one with the minimal impact on the golf course, one affected the tee, the other didn't. That was the one that folks kind of coalesced around.
Yeah.
It wasn't as costly as I think the Cadillac people would consider, but it had a lot of the features that folks wanted.
Throw it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Any idea on cost for design of that?
I have to look this study again. I don't remember.
Thank you, Jay. Mark?
We have completed the Cape Rock Bridge Replacement Project, which was good for Jake as well, because we've been having
Appreciate that.
had a lot of detours around in the area up there. We completed that about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And coincidentally, our asphalt project was part of it to overlay that particular bridge as well. So it was completed last week or the week before. So we're complete on asphalt and bridge projects for the year. That's all I have. Thanks.
Any?
So, big exciting news, we're no longer on Broadway, we moved into our new location over the weekend, so right now, we're on 49 North Lending Lane, so we thought the truck trailer shop used to be there. Yeah, so we've spent the last 90 days rehabbing in the location, big enough for all of our vehicles, allows for expansion 4 garage bays, so we'll have a mechanic hired within a year, we hope. So yeah, that's our big exciting news right now.
Gary?
We're safe, thanks with that.
No real change down at the port right now. We're working on our fiscal year 25 engineering and construction projects. We're gonna pave the parking lot and driveway after 26 years, 27 years of gravel. So that's exciting. And then we're gonna build some additional track space.
Got the tip amendment in. Also working on getting our multimodal subcommittee of our Transportation Advisory Committee put together as well. That'll be an ongoing subcommittee for us that's focused on basically everything except road and bridge. So we're getting that pulled together. And then we've also got a active transportation planning grant through Missouri DHSS. So we have our first community, it's a 3-year grant. We're doing 3 communities, 1 each year for the next. This year, we are doing Ironton. Year 2, we're doing Park Hills, and year 3, we don't have a community yet for that one. But it's a smaller kind of basic plan, but just looking to lay the foundation for small communities or a neighborhood on that active transportation, walking, biking, just helping them develop kind of that first step of a plan so that they can then
Is there a public engagement on it?
yeah, there hasn't been, but there will be, yes, yeah. So we'll be working on that with Ironton for the next year and that whole process for the next 3 years. That's all.
So we think that this Fireflies AI is an app, a note-taking app. It's got Chad's name there, Chad Berger, the CEO of SEMPO ready, but I don't think he's available today, but I think this is just his note-taking app.
Chad, are you there?
Fireflies. Yeah. Okay, on to MoDOT.
I can go. Just had some project updates. The Route 61 project in Jackson. We're working on trying to get the entrance to the park opened up prior to Thanksgiving. And then hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have the entire Route 61 reopened and open back up to traffic. Cook Electric, they're still working on the signals at 74. They don't expect to be completed on that project until February or March of next year. That was kind of delayed a little bit just due to some delivery issues with the signal poles themselves. Pace is scheduled for night repairs over the next 3 weeks on Route K between Kings Highway and I-55. And then bids were recently opened on a couple of projects. We had a drainage project on Kings Highway. Hutz was the low bidder on that. And then on I-55, the southbound truck parking near Oak Ridge, we're going to convert that all to truck parking and get rid of the actual restrooms there and turn it into vault toilet. Lobby was the low bidder on that. Again, we haven't awarded it yet, but those were the low bidders on that project. And then this announcement, I have taken a new position at MoDOT. I'm a project manager now. So there's been an advertisement for my area engineer role. So most likely in the next meeting or so, we'll be meeting that, whoever that is in the year.
Is that less driving?
More driving.
More driving.
I just like to be on the road.
More driving.
Big project or just projects in general?
Just state projects.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Who else, Joe?
And so I've got great news for everybody. The election is mostly over. Your cell phones can get a rest. New governor elected, since he was the lieutenant governor, expect similar leadership. I don't really want to go into more detail now. I'm sure Chris could probably talk a little bit about that, but the director search continues. Hopefully, by the end of December, we'll have a new director in place. We did have at least one local Southeast Missouri applicant that we've been notified about. A quick note about winter weather. It is November, and so we'll be staring snow and ice in the face fairly soon. Just a reminder that we do have the travel information map that allows camera views in some locations and also road conditions, so that can be checked before you go out. And obviously, if it's not safe or there's a question, maybe see if you can put off a trip just to be safe. And then the BRO program actually has a call that's going to close November the 15th. That'll be a week from this Friday. And when I was listening earlier, today's question reminded me to wonder, is that bridge eligible? It's not eligible. That would have been an easy one, wouldn't it? If it was if it's on the eligibility list.
That he's gonna pick up, but it's not.
Okay. I think that's all that I have.
Sure. Anyone else vote aye? IDOT, Tom.
Well, the electronic tip that you folks put into practice, where are you at in that transition? Are you up and running with it now?
We kind of are. We're still awaiting our formal training, both Drew and I. And then we do have an option of potentially offering some training to our partners as well. But Drew and I wanted to get the training, but we haven't had that yet.
Well, as you know, Alex, IDOT has undertaken the opportunity for the Illinois MPOs to participate with the vendor econ that you folks have worked with. And we are going to proceed with that. You folks, having already been involved, or something of a model for us. East West Gateway is still pondering. They're going to proceed, but as to whether they actually undertake it individually, they have some administrative questions. But so MoDOT has Joe and Chris has indicated up in St. Louis that you know, they were pleased with the thought of moving forward with it. So we may be calling, or they may be calling you for some assistance in that transition. So other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Tom. At HWA, who wants to start?
Well, I can go. Yeah, the E-tip provider you're going with, or is that the same one that Springfield Auto uses? Are you aware of?
Oh, interactive, I believe so. I believe they
Okay.
are.
I think they've been using that for a while, so they may be a good resource for you to get a hold of. But as far as anything else goes, we don't have anything right now.
Okay, Betsy?
I don't have anything further to add. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I don't think we have any FTA representatives today. All right. Staff report.
Nothing else to report.
Any other business in communications?
Does SEMO Ready typically have a representative here?
Shad.
Chad Berner is the CEO. He was not aware that they were a voting member, so we email out just to remind folks that.
Does he know he should be?
Yeah, he responded to me. He had planned on attending and then something came up and he said he wouldn't be able to make it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You'll be up to speed with this note taking app. Yeah, and I just want to thank you guys for coming out and attending the meeting. We've been having some issues with the forum, so as you can tell today, we had a lot of very important pieces, and we wanted to make sure we were able to act on them. So thank you very much for attending. That's it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.